Hi everyone, John Falstrom, author of EADG 4 here at EADG 4 headquarters, south suburbs of Chicago. 50 minutes from historic Wrigley Field, of course, and there were 40 minutes from mighty Soldier Field. We're kind of down below the earth here, somewhere out here. We can't give the exact location for obvious reasons. We might get beat up. I don't know. Something like that. Who knows? You never
We're in
know.
Chicago, probably get shot.
You know, we'll get beat. I don't know what. Well, again, for safety reasons. Anyways, June 10th, 2017. Got Dave back here. We're doing a session on different. I just talked about 3 double octave scales. Now I want to switch gears and realize about setting up your bass. Let's talk about setting up your bass yourself. If you're a beginner, you don't want to do this. You want to have someone else do it. I'll just tell you a quick story. When I got my first couple basses, or 3, you know, I was young, real young. I didn't know about you can adjust your bass. You know, no, I just figured you've got it. That's what you got. That's the bass. That's how it is. And then I realized I had a buzz fret. It just evolved where I brought it into a music store and the guy fixed it, and I saw something, and then he adjusted something, and it's like, obviously, it's like, wait a minute, you can adjust these things? So, yeah, I've never been a real technical guy. I can't shave frets, I don't know electronics, but I know key things that have got me by watching professionals and talking to professionals about setting up a bass. And now, let's just say that you got to know this. The cat's out of the bag. When I started, this was not available to me. So I didn't. No one told me. My teacher didn't tell me. It's not his fault. It was just it was in the '70s, early '70s. So the first thing you want to do is when you get your bass, and a lot of guys don't know this. I know that because and you want to get to know it. I'm gonna show each tool as we go by. Okay, now here's a couple tools that are so important. You gotta have your tools, and you want the heads of this is a Phillips screwdriver. This head right here fits these screws on every bass perfectly, and you want it to fit perfectly so you don't strip the screw, which I did in my early days. Again, just experience. That's how you learn. This head, this screwdriver is like a 1966 Montgomery Ward screwdriver, Phillips. Had it, it just fitted perfect. So I use this. Your pickup is important, or pickups. You want them where they're, like I said, if they're too close, they're going to distort. A lot of them will distort the strings. So so you want to adjust the height where. Kind of like maybe, Dave, I don't know if you can get in, zoom. Can you zoom in this baby?
Let me see back up here. I will.
Let's see if you can.
There we go.
How's the angle of the bass?
Tilted back towards you just a little bit. There you go. A little bit more. There you go. So you can see the height.
Yeah, that's the height of this gorgeous humbucker pickup on the Fender Telecaster. I'm playing 72, by the way. And if you see how the height of that pickup from the strings, that's about perfect because my fingers it's not in the way of my fingers, and the tone is hopefully it's great. You're hearing it. I think it's great.
Right.
But again, you don't want it too high because of distortion, or too low because now you don't get the definition of the notes. Pickup's
Right.
too far away. So the height of your pickups are crucial. Start learning about this. Okay, that's what this Phillips is perfect. It fits these screws perfect. I don't want to touch it because it's perfect. But the Phillips, you just turn the screws here.
It's probably might be a number 1 Phillips. They come in different numbers. It might be a number 1.
Also, the Phillips works. Let's talk about the bridge now. What it does. When I was a beginner to slightly, I didn't know this. This is your bridge. Each string you can bring up or down. And again, if you look at this screwdriver, it's a little guy, and this, usually they're small, and this guy fits, it's a flathead, it fits inside these slots right here, perfect so I can raise or lower the strings. And I reckon, like I said, string height is a personal preference. Some guys just like them high. But you can make them wherever you want by turning these screws. They go up and down. So, and either Allen wrenches or the old, maybe the Phillips. That's a flathead. Now, the other thing, the bridge you have to know is they also go back and forth. Now, this is how you intonate your bass. Again, it's back here, and it's a Phillips. This Phillips screwdriver fits this screw perfectly, which means it won't strip, because sometimes you got to use a lot of force. Now, what you do is, let me show you I'm going to show you how to stroke tune a bass. I'll use the G string. You hit the G, and go on a tuner. Look at a tuner, and put it in tune. Get it in the tune. Now, go to the 12th fret, and that's a G2. It should go to the exact same spot as your open G did. If it goes sharp, to the right, what you do is very simple. You just take it, loosen your string, bring the bridge back. Lengthen the string. Check it, tighten it, tune it again. If it's not spot on, it probably could take 3 or 4 tries. You don't have to move it that much. Maybe 3 turns. Check it out, and if it's still sharp, get it until it gets in tune. That's how you do it. So this is very important. You do it for each string. So D, you hit the D. When I hit that 12th fret, you get the open D in tune. When I hit that 12th fret, it better go to the same spot. It has to, because now the octave's perfectly in tune. If it's flat, say this one's flat. When I hit the 12th fret, loosen the string. All you got to do, go back there again. Again, bring it forward, shorten the string, and it's like magic. You'll see that tuner go to perfectly in tune with the open. Okay, so this is very important, the bridge, to know about, and it's not hard at all. This one takes this Phillips screwdriver and a little screwdriver, and that's done. You got to have that intonation at this day of age, 2017, with all the info out there. This should be at least known about ASAP within, I don't know, 2 or 3 months of you picking up your first bass or whenever. You got to know about this, because you'll be doing this on your own, like I do. And I'm not a repairman by no stretch of your imagination, trust me. Okay, another important thing you need to know about setting up your bass, well, again, is the string height. I like the strings. Oh, Dave, let's see if we can get a shot. Let me get this straight up. Everything's possible on a bass guitar if you know what to do.
Right.
Now, Dave, tell me how I got to set this.
Okay, so you want to look at the string height there off the frets.
Yeah, what do I got to do?
Tilt it back towards you just a little bit. There we go. Hold it right there.
Okay.
So you can see, looks like you're not very high. You got kind of a lower action on that bass.
Yes, I like my action not as low as possible, because sometimes it's too low. It's seriously.
Yeah, and I'm just going to pan up the neck, and you can see, like there, and John, we should probably mention too, like the action of the strings is the height of the string in relationship to the frets.
Instead of metal frets, correct.
Yeah, and so some people will like the lower action. It makes it a little bit easier to play, but you can run into, you can have issues with having it too low.
Right.
And also if you're playing it, some people like it higher because they really like to fight the strings.
Right.
They want to do that, and that can have issues for some other people. If you don't have enough pressure, it's going to buzz.
Yes.
Too. So it's going to be a matter of personal preference what the action is. But anyways, so that's how you have your action set up kind of lower.
Yes.
You like it. It's going to make it easier for you to play. You can glide.
Right.
When you're playing more.
I glide. I noticed, like I said, my first 3 basses, I didn't know. I can't remember. I'm sure the strings were real high. I can't remember because I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Now this is where I've come, where I like my strings. This is about perfect. About all my basses, I'd like to get it right around here.
Okay.
Okay. And let me go to, that leads to, very important. Let me get my Allen wrenches.
Okay.
This is a good Allen wrench tool. A lot of bass. In fact, I think all basses need an Allen wrench.
Yep. Depending upon where they're made, you're going to either need to have the standard or metric sets. So if you don't have them, they're not expensive. Buy a set of both. You can use them around the house to fix other things too.
Yes. I have 3 of these. Keep one in my car, one in my studio, and one down here where I practice.
I have them for work. I have a set of both because I never know what I'm going to run across.
This guy, now this wrench, the little guy, or second little, a lot of new bases, you need an Allen wrench for the bridge, so that's good for that. Now let me show you why I use this. Well, again, this is a good one to have for the bridge. A lot of times now with the intonation, they got Allen wrenches. They got Allen wrenches down here. Let me show you. We'll talk about the neck adjustment. So let me show you the wrench I use for that. Again, another set, Dave. I think this might be. I'm not sure if this is metric. I don't know what it is.
Let me look and see in the.
Yeah.
Wait. Hold it still for a second. Okay, those are standard.
Okay.
Those are standard. Yep. You can see we see the measurements on there.
Again, this is. Let's put it this way. For a neck, I'm not gonna obviously adjust it. It's perfect. And I adjusted this. I've adjusted everything on this base. Some things I can't do. I can't do electronics. I can't file nuts. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a gearhead. I'm just a bass player who's got to play, and it's got to play good. So I learn what I need to do to get by and make it all good. You want your neck, the straightness of it. I like it anywhere from like 99 to even a little. Some depends on the bass. Every bass is different. This bass right now, the bow is probably about 101%. It's a little, believe it or not. I mean, you hear it. There's all the notes are sustaining out. It's beautiful. This is about 101% straight. A little overbowed. Maybe because of the age. It's a 72. But again, and how you do it, let me show you. This is what I do. Again, I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars every month repairing my basses with a repairman for straightening out a neck. Or you want to, like I said, at the beginning I used to have to do it. Sorry, repairman, but bass players should know this. This one has a neck, the truss rod up on the neck. All I do is set the bass on my lap like this, and I feel it. Like I said, beginners don't do this. You want someone with experience do this. Even intermediate. Probably not do it yet. Maybe do it. Bring it to a guitar shop. Maybe they'll let you watch them. Maybe they won't. It was tough in the 70s to let a repairman see what he was doing. I snuck in one night. I caught it all. Anyways, I had to.
And now all this information is being revealed 30 years later.
I'm not going to
40 years later.
I'm not going to talk about people, places, but I snuck in. I saw the action. This is how I learned it. Put on my lap. Now, if your neck needs to be straightened, and how you know it's straight? All you do is hold your bass up like this. I do this, and I point it up in the air. And I put my eye right on the edge of the neck and I use the straight string to compare it with. So I look at the E string and I look at the neck right down the horn, and you can tell if it's going out or in. Overbowed is where the neck is going this way, too close. Underbowed is going the other way. So, what you do, where's my, hold on, let me get my
further out. There they are.
Somewhere, I think I tossed it. Here we go. Take my Phillips. Now, if I want to make it the strings closer or straighter, you put it in there. Loosen all the strings, of course. You can keep them on, and just turn it. Just put it in there, and just keep your hand here to feel. Kind of like it's almost like it's a sense. You got to feel under your legs. You get to feel the bass move. Keep my hand here, and then I keep my palm too, and I move it like this. Give it a nice, maybe like that kind of a turn.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'll tighten my strings up, tune it up, and I'll check out how it moved. The string should be closer. I'll check the eyeball, I'll eyeball it again, and I'll play it until I like it. And if you go too much, just go back on it. So if you go too much, remember here, left this way. When your adjuster's on the neck, you got to go this way. to loosen it, boom, the other way.
Just
But
think
if
of
your
it.
adjustment's here, now you go, if you want to tighten it, you go the other way. It's opposite. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's always going to be the rule of thumb is righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Right. So here's right, you're going to tighten it. But check this out, Dave. Left, right, this will loosen it. But up
Correct.
here, right is actually now loosening it. So
Correct.
if I go this way, I don't know what, is that right?
Well, you're just looking at the end of the way that the truss rod is threaded in there. So depending upon whichever end the where your adjusting point is,
Right.
Either way, like if you're looking at it from the headstock going down, if you were looking at it going back, looking towards the pickups, and you were loosening it up, you're turning it actually to the left. You'd be like if you're rolling the wrench towards me.
Okay,
you'd
lefty,
be loosening it.
right.
If you were turning it back towards you, you'd be turning it to the right. If you're on the headstock, if you're down near the neck pickup,
Right, you're about half and half. It depends on the base.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the manufacturing.
Right. So if your neck adjustment's down here, if you want to tighten the neck to make the neck straighter, that's where righty tight. Right, it tightens it. Left, you loosen it. And I got bases
So
like
it's just
that.
a matter of which way you are, however they have the base constructed.
Correct. Now up here, if it's up here, left, to me this is left, this tightens it. See, pulling it this way.
But it is actually right in how you're turning it in. But
okay, right, exactly. So put it this way: if your truss rod's up here, just bring it toward you, okay?
Yep.
Yeah, bring the wrench toward you.
Yep.
That'll tighten it. If you want to loosen it, if the string's like, oh my God, the strings are like the neck is too tight, the strings are just flat on the neck, bring it back. Just come on, loosen it up, baby. Go to the right. You'll get it. Remember, keep it on your lap for sensations. I go with, I'm pretty old school. I go with the vibe of the bass. You feel it. You feel it in your legs.
Yeah.
A lot of guys put them on benches under a microscope. They put it on a computer screen. That's a little overkill.
Just one thing is
Plus, I don't have those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The other thing is don't go crazy and start turning that thing multiple times, because you put too much stress on the wood. You will crack the neck.
Yes. By the way, I will admit I've had a few casualties in 36 years of teaching, 43 years of playing. Yeah, you'll have a couple casualties, but hey, that's how you learn.
Right.
Remember, like Dave said, when you turn it, don't go wild. You can't do it. You got to give it slow, feel the bass. You'll feel it move. And then when it gives you a little fight, stop there. Check it out. If it's not tight enough, go back, loosen the strings. Give it, it's going to fight, and give it a little more until it fights you a little more. Get it until you like it. Simple as that.
Right.
If you can't get it to work, the neck might be shot. The bass might be shot. You never know.
Yeah.
Okay?
The other thing is, too, after you make an adjustment and it's playing good,
right,
check it a couple days, because the wood's going to adjust to having the tension on there. Just go back and check and say, oh, okay, here we go. Okay, it's holding. We're good.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave.
Yeah.
Always go back
and just check, because it's going to it is wood, and it's going to be subject to moisture, humidity. So
dry,
you're going to be checking
cold,
these things. Yeah.
warm,
So
exactly.
John, how often you play year round? So how often you checking your bass?
Every time I play a gig now, I got different basses that I use now. If I do a lot of gigs, so whatever bass I'm using that night, I check it before the gig, because they can move day to day. Again, we're in the Midwest.
True.
We got 4 seasons here, so you never know. Overnight, they can move. Trust me. So I always check my guitar or bass before I play a gig.
Yeah, summers around here in Illinois are really crazy. We got a lot of humidity. So it's going to affect it, and then obviously in wintertime it dries out. So
right. Humidity will make the neck straighter.
Yeah, usually through the wintertime you can usually set it and we're pretty good.
Right.
But it's usually from spring through fall, like 3 seasons of the year, you're going to be check that neck a little more frequently.
Yeah, Dave's right. It's like basically out here in Chicagoland, there's basically 2 times, one time during the year is where it's going to adjust pretty. You're going to see it's either going to go high or low. Again, it's just because of the weather. It goes seeps through anything, and you make your adjustments.
Right.
You know what I mean? Again, you want to get to know to do this, and again, have it your way, right? All right. Let me see. If there's any other adjustments? Make sure, again, bass guitars have a lot of screws on them, a lot of nuts. right back here, Dave, you can get this, these tuning pegs. They got, again, this Phillips screwdriver. I always check. I'm sorry, that's the flathead. Look at my Phillips. 1966 Wards. Who knew? It was a fluke. They fit perfect. So I go in here, I check. I'll check to see if these are tight, because these things will fall off. This is a bass, low frequency, everything rattles.
Right.
You want to make sure these are tight. And now if you got a rattle on your amp or your guitar, bass, don't assume the worst. Look for the weakest link. Look for a loose screw. Usually it's a loose screw that's making a rattle. You think it's your amp blown? No, it's probably going to be a metal on metal that's a little loose. It vibrates. It's a bass guitar. Tighten, okay? So you got back here you want to tighten. You want to tighten. A tragedy, a lot of guys, you got to make sure your strap locks are, strap holders are tight.
Sure.
See? You got Phillips. See, and this is, to get this right, you got to use a lot of tension. Get a head that fits perfectly. This head, so you can press it in there and get it tight. Okay? This stuff we got to know.
Little tip too for that. Little tip, John.
Yeah.
If you have to replace something like that, like the strap lock, if you're going to put something else out there,
Right.
take the screw threads and put a little wax on there, rub it up on a candle or whatever. So what it'll do is it'll go into the wood easier, because you are dealing with hard wood there.
Correct.
So it'll prevent you from stripping, because it's going to make it easier for that screw to go in. Obviously, the first time that you go to, if you were to decide to build your own guitar, like way advanced thing, if you're going to do that, you'd want to take a small drill bit and drill a pilot hole so that screw don't drill into the raw wood, because you'll split the wood, or you're going to end up stripping the screws out, and then you're going to have a mess. Especially if it's in really far, you won't be able to get it out.
Listen to Dave, folks. He's expert at these fields.
I'm more of the handyman than John is, so excuse me for interjecting a little bit here.
That's why you're here, Dave. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. You got anything else to say? I need to take a break, but you can keep talking.
No, we're good. But I'm just sitting there. You've got the tools out. I see a couple other tools you got down there. You got needle nose pliers.
Good call, Dave. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, needle nose pliers. Again, needle nose pliers is for the input jack. There's always a nut. You got to make sure those nuts are tight.
Oh yeah.
You see, they fall off. You know what? And those washers make them fall off. Get rid of the washer. If it falls off, if it doesn't fall off, leave the washer on. If the nut falls off, when you put it back on, throw the washer in the wash. Get rid of it, and get that needle nose and tighten that thing. Not tight where you break it. Most of them are out here now. This is an oldie, so it's out here. You got to make sure this thing is tight, else the whole thing comes off.
Right.
And that's not good. A lot of times it's loose, the wires will pop off. Now you got to get it. You got to get some guy who knows how to solder right and really good and get that fixed. So just tighten. This is the needle nose. You got to have a needle nose.
Right.
For the nuts on your bass. This one has a nut here. Okay. Some other places again. So what your basics are: a needle nose pliers, a Phillips, a flathead. A lot of times there's flathead screws down here on the bridge. Again, you want these tools to fit perfect. They're out there. Just find them. You want Allen wrenches, a little set here, maybe another backup for. I like the longer ones for the neck. Gives you more leverage. Gives you more, gives you more leverage on it. So you got your Allen. You need your Allen wrenches, Phillips, flathead, needle nose. Let me see what else I got, Dave. I got a regular set of pliers.
Yeah, slip joint pliers.
Sometimes. Again, they're better than a needle nose in some bass. Every bass is different, you don't know. So, but definitely have a needle nose. So you got those are your central tools. One more time. This is how important it is. Allen wrenches. Maybe 2 sets, like Dave said, metric or whatever.
Metric and standard.
Yeah, metric and standard. That's cool. So you need your Allen wrenches. You need your needle nose pliers.
Yep.
Phillips, a good Phillips, where the head fits these screws perfect, else you'll strip them within 10 minutes.
Yep.
And I know this because that's what I did when I was younger. And a good flathead. So these are your essentials, okay? For your tools. Have them, use it. If you want right now your basses, a lot of you guys, your basses where the strings are this high, and you can't figure out why am I not playing, it's because your neck and your bridge needs to come down. So the strings will come down to here, or wherever you want it. But if you don't know it exists, you're going to think either, wow, I guess bass ain't meant for me, or this bass is bad, it's a bad bass. No. It's just knowing how to hot rod it. I call it hot rodding. You got to hot rod. It's like a car. Hot rod. You want it to run great? You need to hot rod it. And if you could do a lot yourself, again, do it. Get it done now.
Yeah, plus these basic skills too, John. Like if you want to change out stuff like, you know, if you're customizing it, you know, whatever, you want tricking out, pimping out your guitar to make it your own, you know, simple tools like that. You can change out your volume and tone knobs by yourself. You don't have to take it to a shop to do that.
Absolutely.
You could change a pick guard with those simple tools. Lots of things you can do.
Yes. Yeah, pick guards, definitely. Pick guards, tone knobs, you can change out yourself. Piece of cake.
Yeah.
Get to know your bass a little bit with this, and then pretty soon know what you can do. And if a lot of, like I said, if you can get into being able to file your nut, file your frets. I never got that.
I don't do that either.
Yeah, my mind froze up sometime in the 70s with that. And I don't do that. I don't do any electronic stuff, the pickups. Like I said, I play it, I teach it. So I do enough where I can, the basics, which is good enough. It's like I said, my bass is going in the shop maybe once every 6-10 years, if okay. All right, I had to show that because I get a lot of students over the years. Oh my God! And I just would set it up for them. I said, look, I got to hot rod your bass. You can't. A lot of students come in, their strings are this high, and it's like I realize I'm going to set it up for them because I know they don't have a fair chance. They're not seeing the bass like they should. And the bass teacher should do this. You know, don't just do it for them, or show them. You know, you gotta have your student. If you're a teacher, to have a chance, set up their bass for them, or make them aware of it. Because I do this all the time. I've been doing it for 35 years. I say, let me see your bass. First thing I do is let me see your bass, and I look at it. If it's like doable, I'll just let it go. But if it's like this is impossible, I'll say, look, I'm gonna hot rod your bass right now, or next week, okay? And then I do it. I just do it. What I just showed you here. So do it. All right. June 10th, 2017. John Falstrom, author of EADG 4. I'll be back with a couple more. Bye-bye.